And our Thursday night football brings us to San Diego and Qualcomm Stadium. Two longtime rivals getting together for the 106th time. In the AFC West, it's the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers. Right now, let's send it over to Dennis Packer and a very special pregame presentation from the San Diego Chargers.
To honor our men and women serving in the armed forces, will you please rise and remove your caps for the presentation of our nation's colors by color guards from the Army, Marine Corps, and Navy. Let's join together and take a moment to remember all those impacted by Hurricane Sandy and salute the first responders, emergency medical personnel, and thousands of volunteers for their courage and commitment in the rescue and recovery effort. Thank you. Following the national anthem, there'll be a flyover by Air Force F-15E Strike Eagles from the Bull Tiger Squadron based at Mountain Home, Idaho. As part of the NFL's league-wide salute to service, please welcome members of the U.S. Air Force Singing Sergeants Vocal Quartet, who will honor America in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red on the first day through the night, yet our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner
If that doesn't get your juices flowing, nothing will. Two longtime rivals. You can't have a rivalry any closer than the Chiefs and the Chargers. 52-52-1. Welcome everybody to San Diego. Brad Nessler with Mike Mayock. To say that one of these teams needs that 53rd win in this series is a vast understatement. And Mike, both these teams have troubles right now. Kansas City comes in, they've lost 4 straight. San Diego started strong at 3-1. Now they've lost 3 games to teams that, at least at the time, had losing records. Let's start with them, where their problems lie.
Well, I think in this league, Brad, you got to start at the quarterback position. And Phillip Rivers may be one of my favorite players in the National Football League. However, you can make a case that the last year and a half he hasn't been the same player. So, of course, I went to the tape. I watched every throw he made this year. What I see is a quarterback not surrounded by the same weapons. You can't lose Sproles, Tomlinson, Vincent Jackson, not replace them and expect to have the same offensive attack. So what I see is the guy's a little hesitant. He's not pulling the trigger. He's not on time. And for them to be a playoff team, Phillip Rivers has to play his best.
The guy pulling the trigger for the Kansas City Chiefs has gone back and forth. They're one of 3 teams that have started more than one quarterback this year. They started off with Matt Castle. They went to Brady Quinn. He got hurt. It's back to Matt Castle tonight.
Yeah, and they're minus 18 in turnover differential. I don't care if you're the 79 Steelers. You are not winning football games turning the football over. So they got to stabilize things. Run the football. 20 to 25 touches for Jamal Charles. Hey, Peyton Hillis, 10 to 15 touches. And don't worry if you have to punt the football, because Matt Castle is not the kind of quarterback that if you get behind down in distance, he's not going to sit there and bail you out. So run the football, play action pass, punt the football when you need to, and get the game in the fourth period.
These two teams already met once this year, back on September 30th, and that was the Chargers 37-20. Tonight's game is available in HD and Spanish on your SAP channel. Romeo Crennel, his first full year as the head coach of the Chiefs. 2-1 last year after taking over in Week 13. Norv Turner on the other side, 6th season, 114 career wins, 55 of those with the Chargers. But things have gotten bad around here in the last month. And as Norv said to Alex yesterday, why is there always the word beleaguered in front of my name? Well, both these teams definitely in need of a victory tonight in this AFC West matchup. San Diego won the toss, and they will receive. That's Curtis Brinkley back deep. Ryan Succop's got it teed up. And we're all set for Thursday Night Football from San Diego. Line drive kick. Will go out of the back of the end zone. And the Chargers will start at the 20-yard line. As we mentioned, a nice start to the season for San Diego as they started off 3-1. And things were rolling along. And then the wheels started to wobble. No touchdowns in the last 6 quarters, including a sloppy game against Cleveland last week that they lost 7-6. Philip Rivers, who Mike just talked about, his quarterback rating during that 3-game streak has gone down as well.
Brad, you and I have seen a lot of Philip Rivers over the years, going back to college days.
Yeah.
He's a coach's son. When he's his best, he's confident in his receivers, his back foot hits, and the ball comes out quickly.
Behind him is Ryan Matthews. Will get the carry on first down. It's straight up the middle for Matthews, who goes out for 8 yards before Eric Berry met him head on. Ryan Matthews, former #1 draft choice. Some of his problems have been with holding on to the football, but a very talented young fella.
Yeah, he lost a fumble last week against Cleveland, lost one earlier in the year against Atlanta. The knock on him coming out of Fresno were injuries, and that's continued to hamper him. And remember, you're trying to replace LaDainian Tomlinson and Darren Sproles.
That's almost impossible to replace.
Yeah, man.
Second down at 2. Here's a stretch play to Matthews off the left side, and looks like he's going to be very close to the first down. Terry Poe in on the stop defensively, along with Glenn Dorsey, who's back in the lineup after being inactive the last few weeks with a calf injury.
Yeah, former first-round pick has been out 4 consecutive weeks with that calf, and he's a guy they really need in that run defense.
He's a little bit short, less than a yard to go on the opening series for San Diego. And they bring in Jackie Battle, the bigger of the backs, former Chief. 2 tight ends as well. First third down of the ball game. Third down and flags down. If Jared Gaither jumped.
False start. Number 78 offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That's just what you don't want. Third down and a foot, and now you got third down and 5 and a foot.
And that's what happens. That's the left tackle. Watch the left hip and knee. It twitches right there. Good call. And now it's 3rd and 5.5. And that's a completely different set of circumstances. You see they changed their personnel groupings. And number 84, Denario Alexander's been with the team all of 1 week. And you see number 13, Ajira Tutu, has been with the team since Monday in motion.
That's Ajira Tutu, as Mike said, in motion. Ronnie Brown's in the backfield. Rivers backpedals and goes down the sideline for Ajira Tutu. And he's got it. Nope.
Wow.
Did he catch it? Chargers are saying no. The officials are saying yes.
All I know is that ball was thrown on time. The hands are underneath. He cupped it to his chest. I think that's a catch. But more than anything, I like the timing of the play, Brad. Back foot hit. The ball came out. He trusted a kid that's only been here 4 days.
28-yard pickup. And Rivers told us yesterday, even though he's only been here a few days, he was here a couple of years ago, so I feel like he's never left. So it's first down for the Chargers at the Chiefs 47 after a pickup of 28 on the pass play. And back to play action for Rivers. Going deep again. He's got Gates wide open. First down, San Diego. Another 21 yards that time.
Yeah, that's a deep over route. And I really like the structure of the play because you're going to see the receivers coming over here and clearing, and then Gates is going to come down and deep over. Play action, crosses over top of the linebackers in front of the deep safety. That's a well-structured play, and I really like what I'm seeing with Philip Rivers. The ball, back foot hits, the ball's coming out, 2 consecutive intermediate to deep completions.
And a first down at the Chiefs' 26-yard line. Rivers in the shotgun will throw again on first down. Zips it complete inside the 20. Malcolm Floyd, and mixing it up nicely with his 2 wide receivers and his tight end.
And Philip talked to us yesterday a little bit about, hey, I've got Ajira Tutu who just came in Monday. The good news is he was here a year and a half ago, so I know him a little bit. I've got Denario Alexander who just came in a week ago, and I got to trust all these guys and try to distribute the football because it can't just be about Antonio Gates and Malcolm Floyd.
Especially down here in the red zone when they really clamp down on Antonio Gates. 2nd down at 3. The stretch play to Matthews. Cuts it up, spins his way inside the 15. Nice run. He got 5.
Yeah, I really think they've got a developing right guard in Vasquez. He's a big, strong mauler. He's going to pull out at the point of attack and get a real good piece and allow Matthews to cut up inside. Good down block by McMichael. Clary comes out. Vasquez comes out. There's the block at the edge, and Matthews maximizes the run. That's a good job by their entire offensive line.
Good-looking opening drive for the Chargers. They've reached the Chiefs' 14-yard line. 1st and 10 there. Gates in the slot to the top. Matthews flanking Rivers in the shotgun. Again, he'll pass on first down. Far side, Gates has got it. And in for the touchdown.
In the first game, Chargers against the Chiefs, Antonio Gates completely abused Eric Berry. Look at Gates, it's man coverage. Berry had 2 pass interferences and gave up 5 or 6 catches. Gates is too big and strong. He pushes off, breaks to the edge. Philip Rivers puts it on time in a correct place, and now let's see if he gets the ball across, kicks down the pylon. That looks like it should be a touchdown.
They'll look at that as they do all scoring plays. The right foot kicking the pylon, and it appeared that the ball was over the goal line with his right hand.
You know, 4 for 4 for 70 yards. This is the Philip Rivers we've talked about. Everything's been on time. He hasn't had an extra pat of the football this season. Touchdown.
Novak for the point after. You can't start off a drive on your home field any better than that. A Philip Rivers that was perfect, including the toss to Gates. Those two have hooked up a lot of times in their career. 7-0 San Diego. I mentioned that Philip Rivers and Antonio Gates have a tendency to hook up for touchdowns. When you look at most touchdowns, quarterback to tight end, Peyton Manning, Dallas Clark, Drew Bledsoe, Ben Coates, and that last hookup, number 52 between these two guys.
That's pretty cool.
You know, Mike, it's amazing because when we talked to Rivers the other day, he said he usually gets blanket coverage down there in the red zone. They left him one-on-one, and they paid the price the Chiefs did.
Yeah, and you would think Kansas City would know from week 1, Eric Berry could not cover that one-on-one.
Novak kick to Drone, and Drone had it bounce off the front of his pads. He does pick it up on the hop, but he's not even going to get it to the 15-yard line. Wow. Mistake number 1 for the Chiefs. At least they didn't turn it over. That's been their big problem through the first 7 games. No problem for the Chargers on their opening drive. 7-0 Chiefs on offense when we come back. Could have been a disaster the first time the Chiefs touched it as it goes through Drone's hands, hits him in the pads. He does recover, but that's been the story for the Chiefs this year. They didn't give away that one, but they've given it away 25 times, leading to 87 opponent points. 7 takeaways have led to 16, and minus 18. That's the worst since the Lions in '89. That is almost unheard of, minus 18.
And I mentioned in our open, I don't care if you're the 79 Steelers, you can't overcome those kind of numbers.
Yep. So Matt Castle sets up the Chiefs on a first down, and Jamal Charles. And Charles, good gainer. Got about 8 yards on his first carry.
And they've got a heavy set in there. Donald Stevenson, their rookie third-round tackle from Oklahoma, is the extra tackle in the game. So they're going to go right at that side. Extra people. They get a good push. Donaldson gets to the second level, and Charles gets up the field. That's good football right there. 23 Jammer's got to make the tackle.
And Charles, with that carry, goes over 600 yards on the season. Number 3 rusher in the AFC.
118. 118 up.
On 2nd and 2, Castle. Double clutches, now running. And looks like he's going to get a first down. Nice run by Matt Castle. Had to scramble out of the pocket, picked up the first down.
Good job by Matt Castle, who's not known for being a great athlete. Corey Leggett came through, forced him out of the pocket. And Matt doesn't want to have to do that too often. But again, first down, field position, that's the kind of game it needs to be if you're Kansas City.
Set. 118.
First down at the 25. Back to Charles, second man through, and picks up a couple. We mentioned as Weddle comes out of the pile with a football, but the play was blown dead. We mentioned one of 3 teams that have used more than one starting quarterback. Matt Castle in there for the second time this year. Of course, he took over for Tom Brady in 2008. That's when he put up the numbers that got him the big contract to come to Kansas City. 2010 was sensational, but it's been going backwards since, Mike.
Yeah, and I think that's the year that convinced Kansas City that, hey, I am the kind of quarterback that can take you not only to the playoffs, but beyond. And ever since the numbers have been bad, he hasn't had a whole lot of help outside, but he has not played at a high level.
Here comes a blitz. He's going to flare this one out, but it won't go anywhere because of Leggett. Corey Leggett knocked it down, and it'll bring up third down.
Yeah, Leggett's working on Brandon Albert because they're bringing pressure. John Pagano's known for bringing pressure.
This was close to being a lateral.
Leggett's 94. Ball's going to come out right down the 20-yard line. I don't think you can call that, especially with the knockdown.
Third down and 8 for the Chiefs on their opening possession. Peyton Hillis in the backfield with Castle. Here comes a blitz from the secondary. Quick strike. Bo with a tough catch and bounces off. And he's got a first down out to the 41-yard line. And boy, Matt Castle put some smoke on that one.
And they're bringing the house. And what I liked is he waited for the second window to open up. Look, watch him look to the right, and the first window's not there. He waits to the second hole. They know blitz is coming. Here comes a whole group of guys off the right. Once he gets in behind the linebacker, boy, what a great job and a good throw. Wayne Bowe gets in behind the linebacker, bounces off the arm tackle. You got to wrap your arms, Atari Bigby.
So first down at the 41. McCluster taking it wide and going the wrong direction.
Yeah, that thing was doomed because of a bad snap. You know, they're in the Wildcat with Dexter McCluster, and the ball gets delivered almost like a shortstop to the lower left side. Watch the ball come right over here. Boom. Now you're going to the right, and he's got to reach all the way to the left side. The integrity of the play is shot before he even has a chance to make a cut.
Lilja had some bad snap problems last week, and crops up that time again. I think McCluster had to do that all over again. He'd take that one guy on the left side and run that way.
And keep in mind, Lilja was a guard when he had his best years in Indianapolis.
24 straight games without scoring a touchdown on the opening drive. Goes back to right after Christmas of 2010. And Copper broke his route off, and the pass went the other way.
Yeah, they got the matchup. They got the matchup they wanted, but Copper was looking one way, and it was a back shoulder throw by Castle, creating another big third down situation here.
Third down and 12. They picked the last one up under a blitz.
What kind of patience they have here. I keep trying to say that punting the football is not a horrible thing anymore in the NFL. People have to understand that. It's not arena football.
Castle deep drop. Plenty of time. Deep middle and got it to McCluster, and he's right at the first down marker. He's got it, I think. Yep.
Yeah, and that's the matchup of the slot against the nickel. And the Chiefs really believe that McCluster is going to turn into a heck of a slot because of his physical skill set. Gilchrist, the second-year player out of Clemson is on him. See how quick he is? He wins inside. Once you win inside like that, you've got a chance to make a play. Now, it looks like it's going to be difficult to tell whether this is a first down or not, but a good throw by Castle, a good route by McCluster, and it's a first down.
At the 49 of San Diego. Now Jamaal Charles. I think he ran into his own guy, and then he got hammered by Melvin Ingram, the rookie linebacker out of South Carolina, and only got a yard.
Yeah, Ingram's a guy, their first-round pick. Brad, I was at his pro day. It was freaky. I mean, you want to talk about... I watched him warm up, and they were throwing him. Now, he's a linebacker, right? He played defensive end. He played linebacker. They moved him all over. They started throwing him the football. I thought he could be an all-pro tight end if they chose to line him up there. And there's a kid at South Carolina right now that might be
Clowney.
He might be freakier.
He is freakier. It's only the day after Halloween. We can talk that way.
Yeah, what number is he? 7? Man, he's a freaky dude down there now.
Second down and 9. Castle again has time. This one's incomplete, intended for John Baldwin. And they find themselves with another third down.
Yeah, Baldwin's a first-round pick. That second-year player from Pitt, the 26th player in the draft, and he's 6'4", 220. He looks beautiful, but Brad, he's been non-productive, and they need this kid to grow up. They need this kid to start making some plays because everybody's rolling coverage to Bo.
Looked like he was a little hot going back in the huddle, as if his teammates were to say, hey, go get the next one.
All right.
They picked up 14 on 3rd and 8. They picked up a little over 12 on 3rd and 12. Now they got 3rd and 9 here on their opening drive.
Hillis in the game.
Castle fires, and that one's caught, and it's Bo. And he's got a first down. That's 3 straight 3rd and longs that the Chiefs are successful with.
Outplay. Weddle doesn't get there. Both feet clean, and he gets a 3rd one in.
So the Chiefs have moved this from inside their own 15-yard line down to the 38.
Weddle was trying to clue on that. They were playing a 3-deep zone. Weddle had an interception against Castle in their first opportunity in their first game. Very similar play to that. He's one of the most heady players in the game.
Pro Bowler a year ago for San Diego. And now they go to Hillis. Tough couple of yards. Hillis, who had the big season a couple of years ago with Cleveland. And now he's a change of pace for Jamaal Charles, that's for sure.
I think what he needs to prove, because he had a huge season there in 2010. Almost 1,200 yards. He became the Madden poster boy.
Right.
He became the new hot thing. He changed agents 4 or 5 times. He became kind of an iconoclast. People didn't know what to get out of him, and since then has not been productive.
2nd and 8 pressure this time. Pass complete to Bo again, and with the strength, he takes the linebacker Donald Butler with him for an extra yard, and that'll bring up 3rd down and about a yard.
Brad, this is kind of an impressive answer to that first drive from San Diego, especially the 3rd down conversions. This is not a team that is used to getting chunks.
Yeah.
3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 4. That's not what they're good at. I give Castle and what they're doing here a lot of credit.
They had 4 3rd down conversions all of last week. They got most of that right here on this drive.
And another key 3rd down here.
14th play of the drive.
Heavy set to the right.
That's where they go with Hillis. His second effort got it, I think.
Yeah. Boy, Donald Stevenson, that extra tackle, did a nice job on his down block again. He and Winston.
So 3rd and long, 3rd and long, 3rd and long, and 3rd and short. And Hillis blasts his way for another first down. They move the sticks, and it'll be first down Kansas City at the Charger 28-yard line. And San Diego apparently taking a timeout.
And they got the Water Boys out there.
Yeah.
They better be.
Those guys get out there way before the coaches, just like last week.
That's right.
So 3:29 remaining in a fast-paced first quarter, with San Diego having gone 80 yards on their drive. Kansas City trying to answer with a touchdown drive of their own. And again, they haven't scored an opening touchdown drive since December 26th of 2010. A 7-minute drive for the Chiefs. Blitz coming. Handoff. Charles made the first one miss, and then he goes down in a heap. Nice job by Eric Weddle. and a loss of 5.
Yeah, but the guy that made the play was DeMario Williams, and you called it exactly right, Brad, because it was a blitz, and watch him destroy the integrity of the play right here. DeMario Williams comes up, knocks Lilja over, forces the tailback to bounce, or defensive coordinators call it run the hump. Force him out wide, and here comes that aggressive Weddle, who I love watching play football. He gets it, he's instinctive and tough.
Long yardage situation for the Chiefs hasn't been a problem so far. They don't need to get all 15 here. They'd like to get some of it back. Blitz again. Castle fires far side, incomplete, intended for McCluster. And it was Bigby covering. And now they do have a third down in the longest that they've had on this drive, coming up 15 to go.
You know, this is where a veteran quarterback's got to, they're bringing pressure here and here, but they pick it up. Now watch him, his feet, right there when he breaks his feet, drops his hips, his eyes come down. Does he reset before he throws? No, and that's why he's so inaccurate. I think that's where you see Breeze and Brady and Manning, they all hang right in there, wait for it to come open and rip it.
Well, they're 4 for 4 on third down, but they'll definitely have to earn this one. Third down and 15. They fake the draw. It's a screen to Bo on the outside. Got a couple blocks, and the ball came out at the end at the 22-yard line. Let's see, was he down or not?
Doesn't matter.
Another Chiefs turnover.
Doesn't matter. They were going to turn it over on downs there anyway, right? Third down?
Would have been fourth coming up.
Yeah.
They waste at least a field goal. Chiefs fumble away another chance. Problems continue for the Chiefs.
And I watched a bunch of their tape. That was as good a drive as they've had all year with all those third down conversions. And there's the strip by Butler right there. They were in field goal range. It's points off the board.
So the Chargers take over, leading by a touchdown. Ryan Matthews got out to the 26, pick up a 4. Derek Johnson, the veteran linebacker, there to make the stop. Derek Johnson, over 800 career tackles in his 8th year out of Texas.
Yeah, he's a good football player. He does it a little differently. He's not the textbook take on a block and correct shoulder. And he just instinctively understands the game and is fast enough to get at under or over blocks. He kind of slips them instead of taking them on squarely.
Randy McMichael, the tight end, shifts sides. They go the other way to Matthews. Bounced off his blocker and got out near the 30. There he's hammered down there by Arenas and Belcher.
Yeah, there's some pretty good zone blocking going on here tonight for San Diego. They're doing a nice job. That was Hardwick, the center that he ran into.
So now the Chargers have a third down coming up. Third down and 2. Ronnie Brown checks back in to the San Diego backfield. He's been sensational as a receiver out of the backfield. Kind of reinvented his career as a third down specialist here in San Diego after those years in Miami.
Yeah, and he understands pass protection also. He had 7 catches last week, but also pass protects extremely well.
Oops, we got movement all over the place. Philip Rivers is saying it's on Kansas City.
It's either Clary or Justin Houston. Clary's the right tackle.
And it is offside on Kansas City.
And Houston's one of the better young pass rushers in all of football. He's got 6 sacks already, 10 quarterback pressures. Brad, he played at Georgia. Had a great burst at Georgia, but I thought he took plays off, and I thought it was a great place for him to come because Tamba Hali has such a great work ethic. You can't help but be inspired by the way he plays.
First the Chiefs turn it over, then they give the Chargers a free first down by penalty. And the 5 yards might go right back, but nonetheless it's still going to be first down San Diego.
Exactly.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Let's check in with a third member of our team, Alex Flanagan. Alex.
Hey, Brad and Michael, you guys mentioned there's some new numbers out there on the field. Of course, 2 of the Chargers' key receivers, Eddie Royal and Robert Meacham, injured for this game, so they could not suit up. So you see number 13, you guys mentioned him, Shea Ajir-Tutu. He was with this team, as Mike said, 2 years ago. Philip Rivers does have a comfort level with him, was an undrafted free agent when the Chargers signed him, was actually a roommate of Ryan Matthews at Fresno State. He was with Carolina last season, was not not on a roster when the Chargers signed him this Tuesday.
Already had a big play here in the first quarter, and now Danario Alexander, a newcomer as well, picks up 11 yards on that throw, and that'll bring the first quarter to a close. An exceptional opening drive by San Diego netted them a touchdown. Kansas City had an answer going until they turned it over again. We played one. Chargers 7-0. On the field, don't miss the first half report cards, the biggest surprises and disappointments and predictions for the second half. Plus on game day morning, Peyton Manning, as he made the Broncos a legitimate Super Bowl contender. First on the field in game day morning. It all starts Sunday at 7 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Peyton Manning, the player of the month in the AFC, and has led his team to the top of this particular division, which is always topsy-turvy, it seems, in recent years. Starting the second quarter, San Diego up by a touchdown, and Ryan Matthews taking it wide. Now cuts it back up inside and might have a first down. Close to it, about a yard shy.
Very quick first quarter. Both teams ran the football. We had 2 long drives highlighting that first quarter, but true to character, the Chiefs fumble the ball, put it on the ground, and take points off the board.
There was basically not a ball on the ground between Castle and Rivers passing until Bo dropped it after he caught it.
Exactly.
So third down at a yard for the Chargers here.
Mulk is in the game. 7th-round pick out of Michigan, who's a Remington Award type center. They use him in their heavy package.
And they bring in the bigger back again, and Jackie Battle. He'll get the carry. Battle puts his head down and takes some Chiefs with him. Easy first down.
Just a simple power play with the backside guard, Tyrone Green, getting up in the hole. Battle dropping the pad level and getting the first down.
Battle had a couple of touchdowns the first time these two teams met. One as a receiver, one on the ground. And I'm sure that made him pretty happy after 5 seasons with Kansas City. He was a undrafted free agent in 2007 out of Houston.
Yep.
And he's put together a pretty good career for himself. First with Kansas City and now here.
From Kansas City, I'm looking for a shot pretty soon. A vertical play-action shot.
There's the play action. They're going to come back to the check down to Ryan Matthews, though. He catches it to the 48-yard line. And you're right, Philip wanted to go deep.
And you know what? I loved what he did there. We talked in the open. He was late, and watch the deep route off play action. You're going to have a couple of guys clear down, and he looks and he goes, everybody's covered, so I'm going to check it down. And I love that. When Philip Rivers is his best, quick read, he knows he doesn't have the vertical shot. He knows where his check down is. Get the ball out, and now it's 2nd and 4.
Rivers 6 for 6, Mike, 5 different receivers.
Yeah.
Second down at 4. They'll keep it on the ground. Matthews, little swivel move, and then he put himself down. Javier Arenas got a piece of him, and then Matthews went down on his own.
Yeah, LaRon McClain sealed the corner, and I really thought he was going to run through that arm tackle. Watch McClain get over here on the corner, seals it. Now, here comes the move. Jump cut, and you think he's going to run through that arm tackle, and he doesn't. He's got to do a better job of running through that tackle. Arenas, yeah, good job, but, you know, that's what Ryan Matthews has not become. They traded up in the first round to get him, and those are the kind of tackles you got to run through right there. That was a big play waiting to happen.
Ajira Tutu in motion to the slot on 3rd down and 2, and Rivers will throw. Quick slant, got it complete. Alexander inside the 25. They'll track him down, but not before he gets to the 15-yard line. 30-yard pickup to one of the newest guys in town.
Remember, Stanford Routt, starting corner, is out tonight. They're working on Travis Daniels, and Alexander does a nice job winning inside. That's a poor job by Travis Daniels. First on getting beat inside, and then second, not making any kind of tackle.
First down for San Diego at the Chief 15-yard line. So it's their second trip into the red zone. The first time they found Antonio Gates for 14 yards and a score. He's on the left side right now with a bunch of tight ends. One of them, Randy McMichael, moving back to the other side. They'll keep it on the ground. Matthews going the wrong direction. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Might have even got a half a yard out of it. Nope, they're going to say he's out at the 16.
Yeah, I'd much rather see him just take this football, get up the field, Don't be dancing 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage on an inside zone.
Looks like he might be limping a little bit too, Mike.
Well, both these teams are beat up from an injury perspective. There goes Allen, the rookie guard, in the locker room.
Chargers, meanwhile, 10th play of the drive after taking over in the previous quarter on that fumble by Dwayne Bowe, trying to turn it into points here. 4 minutes into the second quarter. Second down at 12. Rivers throws short again, complete. This is Ronnie Brown to the original line of scrimmage. It's still going to bring up third down and 10.
And again, I have no problem with that. I got a little problem.
Somebody's got a problem. Jared Gaither's got a problem with Jovan Belcher, I think.
Jared Gaither, 6'9", 335 pounds.
You get in a fight with him, you're definitely looking uphill.
Yeah, but he can't bend and move. Right? That's a jab and move waiting to happen right there in this.
Third down at 10, just under 10 to go first half. And San Diego's going to take a timeout. We'll take one as well. 9:56 remaining first half. Chargers here in San Diego threatening again. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Verizon. Now more than ever, Droid does. And by KFC. Come in today and taste why fresh is better. Beautiful pink sky over Qualcomm Stadium with just under 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Pink sky at night, sailor's delight. Got a lot of sailors here, a lot of servicemen here.
That's right. Pink sky at morning, sailors morning.
Yeah.
How about that?
Third down and 9. Rivers steps up in the pocket, hit as he throws, got it to Ronnie Brown, and he got it to the 7, but it's about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Tamba Hali put a hit on Rivers as he let go of the ball, and the field goal unit will come out.
Yeah, and Kansas City was all over Gates that time. Remember, he beat them for a touchdown in the red zone the last time. They beat him up in the slot. They had a safety over top, and he alertly checked it down.
Nick Novak will come in for the field goal. He was 3 for 3 in the first meeting between these two teams this year. He's only missed once, and this is a chip shot. 25-yard field goal upcoming by Nick Novak. And the kick is good. So they turn Dwayne Bowe's fumble in the first quarter into a field goal in quarter number 2. Our flyover before the game. Our servicemen here. San Diego with a lead, 10-0. In honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league will donate $100 to each of its nonprofit partners, the Pat Tillman Foundation, USO, and Wounded Warrior Project. To join the salute and learn more, visit NFL.com/salute.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Sure is. We salute all our men and women of the armed forces, and had a great opening tonight with the national anthem and the flyover. Right now it's the Chargers flying over the Chiefs 10-0, courtesy of a long touchdown drive on their opening march, and then taking advantage of a Dwayne Bowe fumble and turning it into Novak's field goal. And Novak's kickoff will go to Drone, and he's about 8 yards deep, and he's bringing it. Drone,
good tackle.
Got to the 19. Did a lot of work to get 27 yards on the return. 9:05 remaining. SeaWorld. Looks like fun. Chiefs have shuffled their offensive line a little bit due to injury as they start at the 20-yard line again.
You know, a guy I like a lot. Look at Atari Bigby. Not only does he have 56 tackles as a safety, he's on special teams, and on the 20-yard line, he sticks his hat in there, makes a big hit on the return man Drone when it all of a sudden looked like the Chiefs had a little something going. Love to see the starters in there making plays on special teams.
And it's going to be a gain for Charles on that play unless he eked out a yard. The Chiefs have never led in a football game this year. This is week 8. They've trailed for 5 hours or so. They were tied for 97.5 minutes. The only time they led was in overtime when they beat the Saints, the final play of the game. And That for Romeo Crennel has not been a good start through the first half of this season. They had a great drive the last time they had it, but it ended as so many of their drives have, with a turnover. Castle pressured from behind. He got out of there somehow, and man on the run takes on a linebacker, and he goes out for 8 yards. Wow.
I don't know how we get out of there. Charles going to have to make a block here. Remember, you've got Hochstein at left guard. Charles misses the block on Weddle. Nice job from the backside of feeling the pressure and having the wherewithal to pull the ball down. Here comes Weddle trying to rip it. That's the second time tonight he's escaped pressure. The first time for a first down. This time he keeps him alive on a makeable third down.
He puts his head right into Butler to get it to 3rd and short. Kansas City will take a timeout. They really need to convert this 3rd down and 2 when we come back. 7:38 till halftime. Wake up with NFL AM, the only morning show dedicated to the NFL. Tomorrow morning, complete highlights and reactions from the key players in our game tonight. As always, you can wake up with a first look at the latest NFL news, info, and highlights heading into the weekend's games. Don't miss NFL AM tomorrow and every weekday, 6 a.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network. Important 3rd down for the Chiefs. 3rd and 2, trying to get something going here midway through the second quarter. Castle in the gun. Peyton Hillis is there with him. Throws far side. Dwayne Bowe, nice catch. First down, Kansas City.
You know what I like there is I liked he gave his big receiver an opportunity to make a play. You know, Bowe 6'2", 221, working on Kaysen in press coverage. Now, it looks like good coverage right there. But Bowe comes back to the football. It's put up high. And you move the chains. That's a really good job by the quarterback again, giving his guy a chance to make a play.
Bowe's got 5 catches, Mike, and 4 of them cut on 3rd down. Here's Charles trying to weave his way through the traffic inside. Got across the 40.
You know, Brad, we had a chance to talk to John Pagano the other day, defensive coordinator here in San Diego. His brother Chuck, of course, the head coach in Indianapolis. And John shared with us during their open week. He went to the hospital and spent the weekend there with them, and he said it was really kind of cool. Here they are in the hospital, and Chuck's got the entire 2 deep of the Indianapolis Colts up on one hospital wall. He's got all his replay equipment from the day's practice, and he said, we sat there and watched tape of their games, their practices, and here's a guy recovering from leukemia, cancer, and he's excited about his football team, and I think it keeps him energized.
We'll see his football team next week. Hillis, nice second effort. Looked like he was going to lose a yard, and he picked up at least 1. Abreu Franklin made the first hit, the big nose tackle.
Yeah, and he's going to come through the A gap, which is between the center and guard. Remember, Hochstein, the left guard, is coming in for Jeff Allen. Lilja runs right by, and Abreu Franklin makes the play. And who cleans it up again? Look at Weddle on the backside. He's like the Energizer Bunny, man. He's everywhere.
3rd down and 5. Looked like maybe as the pass down the sideline intended for Bowe is incomplete.
Yeah, I thought Barnes was offside.
I did too. I thought he either got a heck of a jump or he was offside.
Yeah, he's really quick twitched off the edge, and I think he just cheated a little bit.
That should give him an automatic first down.
Defensive end lined up in a neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
I don't know if he lined up or he jumped in it, but either way, they got him.
I think it's right at 3rd and 5. Should give them a first down. They haven't moved the chains yet. Now they have.
There you go.
So Kansas City trying to keep things going here.
Yeah.
And their offense hasn't looked bad, really. It's just that turnover that killed them.
Same thing, right?
Yep. First down at the 47. McCluster again, and the Wildcat here will take a direct snap. Following Hillis. And McCluster, if he gets into the secondary, look out. He got it to the 40. A first down, a pickup of 13. A little guy, 3rd-year man out of Mississippi.
Remember, the whole point of the Wildcats, get that extra blocker in there. You get the fullback and the backside guard. Guard gets up in the hole, fullback gets it. Look at that hole right there. Beautiful. get that extra blocker in play. It's a pain in the butt for the defense because you got to practice all week against it. And then here comes this little McCluster, who I loved at Ole Miss, but he's only 5'8", 170, and they're trying to find what the fit is for him on this team.
They're putting him in a lot of different spots. Under 5 minutes and a half. Kansas City's got to get something out of this drive. Castle throws across the middle to Charles. And again, he gave a little ground to try to find an opening and probably lost a couple yards on it. He did pick up 3.
And one of the guys that made the tackle is Jarrett Johnson, one of the free agent acquisitions for San Diego in the offseason. And Brad, when he was at Baltimore, I thought he was one of the most underrated players in football. You know, they had all the big names in that defense, but I thought he was kind of the glue. Now, what does he do for San Diego? He's 31 years old. His skills are declining, but he sets the edge in the run game. That's why he's out now. It's a pass situation.
McCluster, Wildcat, down to the 31 and really close to a first down, but I think he's about a half-yard shy. That'll bring up 3rd down and 1. So McCluster, a couple of runs on this series in the Wildcat, and now he goes out at Castle. Will come back under center.
We asked Matt Castle yesterday, where does McCluster fit? You know, he's played everywhere, and he said he thinks he could become one of the premier slot receivers in the game because of his quickness and his hands. He just has to learn how to run the route better.
Let's see if Hillis gets the call here. 3rd down at a yard. Oh, he didn't get there. It'll be 4th down at a yard. Butler came flying in there and got help from his friends, including Legit, who's still down.
You've got to see the linebacker if he's coming through. If the guard goes down and the tackle blocks out, you can't. Watch what happened. The guard comes down, the tackle comes out, and Butler comes right through. Butler's too quick and too tough to not block him. And that's a shame. I mean, that's a basic play. You've got to see that linebacker hovering in that gap.
And they're going to go for the field goal on 4th down at a yard. Ryan Succop has hit 13 straight field goals. His long this year is 52. This is from 49. And he got it. So the Chiefs, desperate for points, they'll take the 3 to cut the lead to a touchdown. 2:51 remaining in a fast-paced first half. 2 old rivals getting together for the 106th time. 10-3 Chargers. For you tomorrow at 7 o'clock on NFL Total Access. After their loss to the Giants, can Dallas pick it back up and take on the undefeated Falcons on Sunday and put the pieces back together? Marcus Ware joins us. As always, you get the latest news and info leading into another NFL weekend. NFL Total Access tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network. 49-yard drive and 10 plays, orchestrated by Matt Castle and Dexter McCluster and company. They have to settle for the field goal. 10-3. And the kick will bounce at the 1. Taken a yard deep by Brinkley. And Brinkley got across the 22 where he's put down there.
Copper killed him. Oh, here we go. Another fight.
Extracurricular activity here. This is actually a pretty good one. It's going on in about 3 different locations.
It is. See, what happens is when a player in the opposite color pulls you off the pile, then you fight him. And that happened about 3 times.
These 2 teams, charter members of the old AFL in 1960. They've been playing a long time. These guys don't know anything about the Chargers in 1960, but they do know they don't like each other all that much.
I think it was Demario Williams and Edgar Jones.
There are 2 fouls on the play. They're both in Kansas City. Number 99, unnecessary roughness. That penalty is declined. Number 21, unnecessary roughness. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed from the end of the run. First down, timeout.
That gives San Diego better field position, and they still got 2:45 to work with. The 2-minute warning and a couple of timeouts. Chiefs and Chargers, AFC West battle. Late stages, second quarter, and the Chargers by a touchdown. Tonight's aerial coverage is being presented by Southwest Airlines. What a beautiful night. Isn't it always a beautiful night in San Diego? Pretty much. 10-3, Chargers in front, 2:45 remaining in the half. And again, they've got 2 timeouts to work with and the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
And Philip Rivers has been as on as we've seen him all year.
Hey. Yeah, 59.
180. Hey, hot, set. 390. Hot.
Down the middle, complete across midfield. And a first down to Malcolm Floyd. Pickup of 16.
Really good pass protection. Again, love the timing. I think Phillip really trusts Malcolm Floyd. He's now 10 for 10 for 143 yards in the first half.
Floyd, a couple of catches. His leading receiver this year, 31 on the year right now. The first down at the 47. Blitz coming this time. Rivers sidesteps and throws complete again. Malcolm Floyd. And another San Diego first down.
Overload blitz coming from the right. Phillip Rivers slides to his left and gives Floyd an opportunity to make a catch.
How good a catch was that for Floyd on back-to-back plays? 2-minute warning.
It's a good thing we're telling you what's coming on the Lexus halftime show. This field judge wants me off the field. The best sounds of the first half of the season and second half of the season predictions, Brad.
All right, Rich, and the Chargers behind you have a first down at the Chiefs' 35-yard line, trying to get more points here before halftime.
I'd have tackled him if I was the side judge. I'd have come right after him. The guy's in a suit on the field. Get him off, Eisen.
Rivers steps up, throws short across the middle. Ronnie Brown, and Brown picks up about 9. And again, San Diego's got a couple of timeouts to work with if they choose. Right now they got second down and short at the 26.
And nice job with the offensive line again. They slid the protection to the right. The left tackle, Gaither, handled the one-on-one, and Rivers made the correct move.
Draw play. First down run to the 20 by Ronnie Brown. Not just as a receiver, getting it done as a running back there to the 20-yard line. 12 for 12. That's not a bad first half, is it?
And every drive has been with the most precision I've had seen this offense all season long.
Right now what they'd like to do is use as much clock and get a score and not give Kansas City any time to work with. We're down close to a minute and a half. Rivers trying to go 13 for 13 does. Gates down to the 12. A minute to go.
Brad, this is the 35th time the Kansas City defense has been in the red zone this season. By comparison, San Diego's defense has only been in there 16 times.
2nd and 2. And a first down run inside the 10 for Ronnie Brown. They might want to use one of their timeouts right here. And they will. So the Chargers have been almost flawless in the first half. And they're going to have a first and goal coming up after Norv Turner has a quick word with his quarterback. We talked about Phillip Rivers and how he's played this year, and in that 4-1 start, things were really going well. You said in the open tonight, when he's ripping it and when he's rolling with it, and he told us that yesterday, he said you can just feel it, and I think right now they're feeling it.
He's in that rhythm, and I mentioned I love him as a player because he's just so smart. His father's a coach. He understands the game, and it's painful to watch on tape when he's not the same guy.
Right.
But tonight, it's like he has been on target. His timing has been 100%. His accuracy, the whole program is on.
Perfect so far. Hasn't missed a pass. First and goal, San Diego. Plenty of time, and this one he's got to throw away. So there's his first incompletion, and it was on his own. Didn't have what he was looking for, and so he threw it in the stands.
And I would call that an intelligent decision right there. Don't force it. You're up. I charted every interception he threw this year, and he had several opportunities in the red zone this year where he threw interceptions because he forced the football. I think situational football dictates that you're winning a game 10-3 late in the first half. Whatever you do, don't take points off the board.
Second down and goal. 8th play of the drive at the 8-yard line. Rivers steps up, throws short across the middle. Ronnie Brown got to the 1. Chiefs tracked him down there. 25 seconds. Rivers trying to get everybody lined up. And we got a Chiefs down, and that's Glenn Dorsey.
Holding the calf.
And that's the problem he's had for the last month. So the Chargers get a chance to regroup by Kansas City injury to the former #1 pick out of LSU.
Little push pass. Good protection. I've really been impressed with the protection up front all night long. Rivers has barely been touched, and Ronnie Brown, you mentioned earlier, Brad, how good he's been in their pass game, both as a receiver and a pass protection guy, and you see it once again.
He got that close. Just inside the 1-yard line. Kansas City will be charged a timeout, by the way, because of that injury to Dorsey, and he's still down. And we'll try to get Glenn up with 21 seconds left in the half. That football is right at the 1-yard line where it's 3rd down and goal. San Diego here trying to take command with 21 seconds remaining in the second quarter. They've got Jackie Battle in there and LaRon McClain.
And David Malk.
That's their jumbo package. And it'll be Battle, the tailback in the eye. 3rd down and goal, San Diego. Play action. Rivers throws, and it is intercepted.
Can't do that. Can't make that throw.
Intercepted in the back of the end zone by Eric Berry, who was victimized on the first drive of the game, and he just got some payback.
You know, it's 3rd and 1 with a timeout. You cannot make this throw. We just talked about it. He threw one in the 10th row 2 snaps ago. Why would you make that throw? That's great coverage by Berry. Nobody's there. You're running away off your back foot. Everything was bad about the decision, first of all, and then the throw.
Only one misfire, and he did that on purpose until that one.
Points off the board. Look at Berry running right underneath it. There's no way in the world you can make that throw.
Chargers' 3rd red zone turnover this year, and that one was a killer from the 1-yard line when it looked like they were going to go up 17-3, and now it's going to be 10-3 heading to the locker room at halftime. That might be a big swing in favor of the Chiefs because they get the football first to start the 3rd quarter.
And listen to the stands. I mean, they played almost a flawless first half.
And they're getting booed. They're getting booed right to the locker room.
Oh, man.
End of the first half. Chargers leading 10-3. Don't forget, stick around. Rich and the guys will have the Lexus halftime show coming up next. Two longtime rivals, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers. Rivers backpedals and goes down the sideline, and he's got it. Again, he'll pass on 1st down. Far side, Gates has got it in for the touchdown. Bow on the outside, and the ball came out at the end. Another Chiefs turnover. Just about set to start the 3rd quarter. Philip Rivers, whose passer rating in the first half, had it not been for one miscue, would be off the charts. He was almost perfect, Mike, and he gets booed going to the locker room.
And we said both quarterbacks had to play better. I thought they both did. Castle 7 for 11, a couple of first downs with his feet. But Philip Rivers, 14 for 16, almost perfect except for one bad decision. The first drive of the evening, off his back foot, bang, Seyi Ajiratutu thrown perfectly. Then, of course, Gates across the middle. Again, deep over route, thrown perfectly. And finally, to finish off that first drive, Gates one-on-one with Berry. However, here they are at the end of the half. Play action, throw it in the 10th row. He forces it in. The interception by Berry. And you take points off the board, Philip. You can't do that.
Chargers 3 possessions in the red zone, a touchdown, a field goal, and that interception. We want to remind you, you can follow your favorite teams all season long at itunes.com/NFL. So the Chiefs will get the football first, too, to start this 3rd quarter. Sean Drone back deep. Nick Novak will get the 3rd quarter underway for us. And Drone will take this one about 4 yards deep. And across the 20, trying to pop it outside. Gets to the 25, maybe the 26-yard line. Pretty good return as we check in with Alex. Alex?
Hey, Brad. Well, I spoke to Norv Turner about that one huge mistake that Philip Rivers made at the end of the first half. I asked him if he thought about running the ball. He told me that he has a history against this team, Kansas City, in the goal line situations with running being unsuccessful, and that's why he decided to throw the ball on that play. Meanwhile, Romeo Crennel saying that Eric Berry's pick gave his team confidence and momentum. He says that he liked the way that the Chiefs played in the second quarter of this game. One quick note, Jeff Allen, the guard, out for this game. Russ Hochstein, you guys, just recently signing with this team a little while ago.
All right, Alex, thanks. The first snap is Jamal Charles, and he loses a yard. And he really hasn't been able to get on track against this San Diego defense yet, but that's happened to quite a few people this year. They only give up 80 yards on the ground per game.
Yeah, they're pretty stout on defense, especially against the run. That time, Hochstein, who Alex just mentioned at left guard, wasn't able to cut off the linebacker who made the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Charles, who had 5 carries for 4 yards last week, has 7 carries for 8 yards tonight. Hardly the guy that had 233 against the Saints in their overtime win. Second down and 11. Matt Castle was very effective in the first half, too. Only a field goal to show for it, but this has been his main target, Dwayne Bowe. And Bowe's out close to another first down at the 35.
Really smart play by Castle. He knows blitz is coming. He sees it here, but what does he have? Soft and off it over here. Get the football, get it out immediately to Bowe, and let him make a play. That's a good read by the quarterback and good execution by the wide receiver.
Dwayne Bowe caught 7 balls for 108 yards and a touchdown in the first meeting this year. Got 6 tonight so far. Third down and short. McCluster now in the Wildcat. Follows his blockers in the middle of the pack. I don't know. He's got people draped all over him. Watch out. Ball comes out at the end of that one, too, but he's down. And now it's going to just depend on where the spot was.
I think Donald Butler's had a heck of a game. You want to talk about a downhill tough guy. Watch him scrape over the top here. Reads the whole thing, sees the backside guard pull, gets into the hole. Trying to see who's on the ground there. Did a great job against the block, holding at the point of attack.
So Kansas City can't convert a short yardage, and the first punt of the game at hand. Dustin Colquitt will kick. That's Eric Weddle back on the other end for the Chargers. High kick. Flags are down. Weddle takes it way back and bobbles it at the 10. Found the handle, though, and now weaves his way out for about a 4-yard return. But they get a penalty marker back at the 40-yard line.
Getting chippy again here. It's been mostly on special teams where these fights have occurred.
So the officials out at midfield. Al Riverana is our referee. Got a holding call going one way or another by the preliminary signal anyway. And here's the call.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Ineligible downfield on the offense, number 56. Holding on the defense, number 88. Those penalties will offset. Replay 4th down.
Gotta do it again.
Ineligible downfield, 96.
Chargers special team coach
Rich Bisaccia. A lot of conversations going on out here this week, Brad, that I think don't do fairness to Norv Turner or Rich Bisaccia. The rumors out here that if Norv didn't win tonight, he could get fired tonight by Dean Spanos.
That's A.J. Smith, the general manager.
Yeah, and then and then the reports have gone on to say that Rich Bisaccia, who's the special teams coach and assistant head coach, would be the guy. Now, I'm on record for years saying that Rich Bisaccia is head coach material. However, he doesn't want it to happen that way, and I don't think it's fair the way it's being portrayed out there.
So Colquitt will have to do it again. Whoa, this time they got close to him. And Weddle will have a better shot at this one at the 22. Goes down at his track zone. The ball comes out. Kansas City's on top of this one unless he was ruled out. And again, now we got another fight going on. Stuckey involved in this one.
The helmet off. You don't want to be in a football fight with the helmet off.
I thought Kansas City was all over this. They're still unpiling bodies.
And you were right.
And finally, the Chiefs
came up with that. Corey Greenwood.
Chiefs ball.
I think 93 Greenwood. Jalil Brown makes the tackle. Now, the question's going to be, obviously, was it the elbow that caused the fumble?
Right.
And
we'll be reviewing this one.
Yeah, we're going to have to take another close. Here, let's see it right here. That's the wrist.
I'm not sure if the elbow was down yet. Here's another angle. That looked like a wrist pop and the ball coming out.
Wrist isn't part of the hand, though, I don't believe. I mean, I don't think that was ruled a fumble on the field, and I'm not sure that's going to be a fumble.
Right now they've got it set up as the Chiefs have of the football. Everybody here in the stadium is seeing what you've already seen. Maybe not quite as many angles as you've seen, but
now that wrist or that elbow comes down with the ball still secured. Brown can't cause a fumble.
Weddle normally pretty sure-handed. Eddie Royal would be the punt returner if he was healthy. Kansas City's offense is out there. They're ready to go.
The ref's not going to let him go, though. The ref's standing over the ball. Kansas City's trying to talk him into it now. We haven't had any ruling yet. He's telling Norv, I don't want to hear it.
I don't know why they haven't already looked at this. Bob Boylston's our replay official tonight. So the discussion continues in front of the Chargers bench. The only indication we have that it's Kansas City's ball is because they've got the markers, first down markers, set for Kansas City to take over the 24-yard line. And we're finally going to get a call here.
The ruling on the field has been confirmed.
Wow.
Upstairs, Kansas City has the ball.
That's enough explanation, I guess.
Now the knee's not down. It's the wrist right there when the ball comes out. If the wrist is considered part of the hand, I understand it, but I didn't think the wrist was.
Well, this is a golden opportunity for Kansas City, a team that's been maligned by turnovers all season long. They finally get one on the plus side. Can they take advantage and tie the game? First down at the 24. Castle streak down the sideline to Bo. Little hand fighting going on with Quentin Jammer, and incomplete.
That's a good matchup, though. I've got no problem. That's a really good matchup. You got a 6'2" Bo on Jammer. One-on-one, no help. Outside release, good coverage. You're like you said, Brad, a lot of hand jiving going on there.
And he couldn't quite get to it, so second down at 10.
Yeah, I think both parties were guilty of pushing off there, and that's a good no call.
Castle in the shotgun. They'll keep it on the ground here. Charles broke 2 tackles. Weaved his way for about 3 yards to the 21. Legion and Ingram finally bring him down. And here's the biggest third down of the ball game for either team. Kansas City trying to take advantage of Weddle's fumble, and the Chargers try to hold the Chiefs to a field goal attempt.
See that big 94 right there? He's the guy I think who's becoming a better and better football player. First round pick 2 years ago out of Illinois. Legion is the guy that made the play on the last one, and he's becoming a dominant force inside, both against the run and pass.
Chargers showing blitz on third down and 7. Chiefs have a bunch group of receivers to the right side. Castle steps up, goes to the end zone. Bo can't locate it. Incomplete.
Oh,
I think it was catchable. He just couldn't find it. It's fourth down.
Really good pass protection there. They're going to go 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then you've got the running back coming over Hillis to pick up on the backside. Perfect pocket, and it looked like a pretty good throw. One-on-one, Kaysen reaches out and grabs, and look, they're just a different angle by the receiver versus the way the ball was thrown by the quarterback.
Suckup, who hit one earlier, will try a 39-yard kick here. As I mentioned, he's hit now 14 in a row on the season. And this one hits the uprights, no good. There goes the 15 in a row. So Kansas City does not take advantage of the turnover. It's been the story of their season. Chargers still in front 10-3. You want to talk about taking the Chiefs season and packaging it in about a 35-minute deal tonight. That's how things have gone. They missed field goal and another missed opportunity after the Weddle fumble. So they don't get any points out of it again.
And an opportunity on a touchdown, and the quarterback and the wide receiver disconnect.
Right. Philip Rivers is 9 out of 10 when he throws on first down tonight. He won't here. Matthews got about a yard before Houston made the stop. Mike, you talk about the Chiefs season and boil it down. They had a great drive going. Dwayne Bowe puts it on the ground. San Diego turned that into points.
Then the left tackle turns out instead of down. The linebacker on 3rd and 1 comes through, forces a punting situation instead of points.
Then a stupid penalty.
Arenas with a punch.
Yep. That was part of 2 penalties that moved San Diego down the field without a lot of effort.
Then they miss a field goal in the red zone, and that's who they've been this year.
Run 80! Brown! And hot!
2nd down and 8. Rivers going to flare it out to Ronnie Brown out in the flat. Nice move by Brown to get close to the first down.
You know, and this is when Philip Rivers, again, I think, is making good decisions. This is cover 2. These 2 are down, and here's the Tampa Bay part of it. The middle linebacker right down the field. It's deep coverage, good coverage. There's nothing there. So what's he do? Checks it down. Ronnie Brown had 7 catches a week ago. He's sure-handed. He's a veteran. He knows where he's supposed to be. Love the decision-making all night long except for the one fateful play at the end of the first half.
Ronnie Brown 5 catches again tonight after having 7, as Mike said, a week ago. Gates comes over now to slot right. He has a touchdown catch tonight. Rivers down the middle. Complete to Alexander. And another first down at the 40 of Kansas City. 20 more yards on the pass play.
Kansas City doubled Gates. It was an in-and-out combination coverage on the tight end, and what a good read by Rivers again, coming backside away from that to Alexander. So here's Gates. Elam outside, Berry inside. There's nothing there. However, you go back to the backside, it's Daniels on Alexander, and Alexander's wide open. Remember, he's only been there about 10 days, and Philip Rivers trusts him enough to make the correct read and come back to him, not forcing the ball to his tight end.
Big target, 6'5". Play fake, Rivers loads, pressure from behind. He's going to just put his arms around the ball, and Tamba Hali, who has more sacks against the Chargers than anybody else in his career, has got another one. That's the first sack of the game.
Combination of speed and hustle. Ali coming from the left side. Jared Gaither, who's extremely long, does not have great feet. He's got him early, but Ali just never, ever stops coming. One of I think, one of the most highly efficient, tough hustle guys in this league.
Yep.
Love watching him play.
Had a sack in the first game this year between these 2 teams, and another one that makes 10.5 against the Chargers in his career. And it puts the Chargers in a long yardage situation. 2nd down, 14. Rivers floats to his left, wants to throw, going to have a holding call, I think, and he just gets rid of this one. And Hali was coming again, and I think Gaither might be the guilty party. There's a couple flags on the play.
See, when you set a guy up with a speed move and you beat him for a sack, Ness, then you can come back up with the up and under move.
Holding number 78 offense. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
So Hali just wins outside with speed rush. So he's going to come up and then back under. Gaither doesn't have the feet to handle it, so what's he do? Stranglehold.
A clothesline.
The clothesline. Like a wrestling move. But when you get those big, long guys trying to move their feet, generally they can't do it. They just want to push you up the field past the quarterback. When you get them to try to rotate their feet, cross their feet, you're going to win.
2nd and 24 now. Rivers throws it out to Matthews, and he is drilled. Nice job by Eric Berry coming from the secondary to make the hit.
Yeah, you know, they had a little something there too, and Berry does a great job. Here's Berry. What I like about him is when a defensive back trusts his eyes. He starts in zone coverage. Now he sees it. When he sees it, he busts it, and he runs right past Vasquez. If Vasquez makes that block, it's a big play.
Berry coming back from that knee injury of a year ago. Told us yesterday, I feel like a rookie sort of this year because everything I learned in year 1 and all the experience kind of went away with the injury in year 2. But he's rounding back into shape. And as Ronnie Brown takes it, it's Berry who makes another hit. Brown got 10, and again the Boo Birds are out. I don't know what they expected on 3rd down and a mile. You can't throw it every time, but those two guys have a nice collision, show a little sportsmanship. And it'll be a punting situation for the Chargers. Mike Cyphers set to kick. Javier Arenas back deep. First punt of the night for the Chargers. Cyphers does a great job keeping it away from return men, and he does it again, but he got some help from his gunners coming down on the side. Darrell Stuckey catches that one on the dive at about the 7-yard line. Nice play by the special team. 7:09 remaining here in San Diego, 3rd quarter. Chargers in front, and with the ball, it'll be Kansas City when we come back. Both these teams frustrated with their season so far. San Diego started 3-1, and they've lost their last 3. And about a week and a half ago, A.J. Smith, the Chargers general manager, said the next 10 games will either rally to see a slow, steady rise from the ashes to division championship or the beginning of a new era in Chargers football. You've heard the natives restless here at Qualcomm Stadium tonight at times. Philip Rivers had an almost perfect first half, but threw an interception at the end. That drew the boos. There was booing going on at Ronnie Brown on that draw play on 3rd down and long before the punt. Now they're fired up because the Chiefs are pinned inside their own 10-yard line at the 7.
And I'm a big believer that the head coach and the GM should be tied at the hip, and they both should be held accountable, not just one or the other.
118. 118 up.
Play action for Castle. Quick throw on the slant that's complete, and that's worked pretty much all night. Dwayne Bowe, another catch. Pick up a 13.
And again, he judged the window correctly behind the inside linebacker, Takeo Spikes. Spikes is going to come in, and he throws it in behind 51. Spikes
gets it out to the 20-yard line.
Number 79 is an eligible receiver. 79.
Number 400 for Dwayne Bowe. Number 1 is Tony Gonzalez on the Chiefs list. And Tony's still catching balls for the undefeated Falcons. Jamal Charles weaving through traffic. Maybe his best run of the night. 10 more yards out to the 30. So finally a little running room for the 5th-year pro out of Texas.
Guard, tackle, tight end. Tight end, what do? They come back weak side. Nice job by Hochstein and Brandon Albert at the point of attack, and also the center, Lilja, getting out to the 2nd level. Charles reads it correctly, maximizes the run.
6 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Chiefs started inside their own 10. They worked it out to the 30-yard line. They've had some good-looking drives tonight, just haven't finished. Missed field goal, and then a Bowe fumble after a reception.
56.
He just called an alert because he knows Weddle's coming, and they went the other way. Good call by the quarterback.
Charles for a couple.
That was a good job again by a veteran quarterback. He knew Weddle was coming, ran the stretch play opposite.
So 2nd down and 8. Matt Castle again started the season, had a concussion. Brady Quinn came in, played a game, and then played a series last week before he was hurt in the loss to Oakland. So Matt came right back in and went 20 for 30 last week. He's been pretty efficient here tonight, but not a lot of yards and still no touchdowns. And that's the problem. The Chiefs had one offensive touchdown in October. They were hoping November starting tonight would be better. Well, Charles, maybe he'll get him one eventually. Out across the 45, good run. Pick up a 15. So Jamal Charles finally gets the wheels rolling a little bit here for the Kansas City ground game.
You know, same thing as the last play, Ness. This time it's Bigbie coming this way. So what's he do? He audible stretch play that way. 2 consecutive plays. The chess match continues. Really good cut by Charles. You can see the burst and acceleration. Wasn't great blocking up front, but they got Phillips up the field. He makes the cut, and it's another first down.
White 20. What's up?
First down, play action. Castle loads, has to reload, and now he's going to take off for whatever green he can find before he hits the deck with a first down run inside the 40. 14-yard scramble by Castle on that one.
Yeah, Leggett pushes him out of the pocket, and Hochstein is really going to struggle with Leggett. And his eyes come down. He feels the pressure. What is this, Brad? The 3rd time he's made big yardage?
Yeah. Came in with 96 yards rushing on the season, and tonight he's had some big scrambles to pick up important first downs, including that one. 25 yards on 4 rushes for Matt so far. First down at the 39. Peyton Hillis stays in there at the tailback spot. He'll get the call. And Hillis puts his head down and blasts his way for about 11. Ran over the top of Weddle at the end of the play, but it's another Kansas City first down. And now the team that's a number 3 rushing team in the league and number 1 in the AFC is starting to show it.
Maneri's going to seal the edge. And then little tiny Dexter McCluster is going to get a block right out wide. 22 right there at the point. That sets it. You get the tight end setting the edge. You get McCluster on the slot. And the big fella rumbles.
5 plays, Mike, of 10 yards or more on this drive for Kansas City. That's taken them to the 28-yard line of the Chargers.
Yeah, now they got to finish, Brad, right?
Yeah, not put it on the ground. Now, Chargers are going to put Hillis on the ground for a loss of 3 or 4. Melvin Ingram, the first guy there.
And last play, I said great job by Steve Maneri, the converted offensive tackle from Temple, who's now a tight end. That time he dropped his head, and Ingram beat him with speed.
You're going to take it back then?
Yeah, absolutely. 50-50 doesn't do it, man.
No. 8th play of the drive coming up at the 31. 3 wideouts, Baldwin, Bowe, McCluster. And Charles is going to flush out of that backfield. Empty set here for Matt Castle on a 2nd and 13.
Single high safety. Good time to take a shot in the pass game.
Chargers almost jumped to the neutral zone, and then Eric Winston, the right tackle, flinched.
Yeah. That was Ingram. I don't think he was in the neutral zone. I think he baited him into that a little bit, and Winston jumped.
Got a whole bunch of finger pointing going on.
I thought Winston was praying for a second. He just tied his shoe.
False start, number 76 offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
76.
They call it on the other side, but I'm pretty sure it was Eric Winston.
Yeah.
Brandon Albert says, you know, don't call my number unless it's really me.
I think it's right here because here comes Ingram right there.
And Winston does a little
And
drop step right there. It wasn't Albert. So, Brandon, that wasn't your problem. The problem is it's 2nd down and 18. And just when the Chiefs had everything going their way on this drive, again, mistakes. In this case, a penalty. Has them in 2nd and 18. Castle fires. Tipped. Oh, and McCluster got belted at the end of the play. And that was Atari Bigby.
Wow. 58 tackles coming into the game. He's a big hitter. I believe the ball was tipped.
Yeah, it was. I think Butler got a piece of it. Yep.
Ball's tipped. That throws off all the penalties, and you can come in and clean up right here.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of clean you want to be when you're 5'8" and 170 pounds. Yep. 3rd down and all. Third and 18. Castle, the slant again. That's worked all night. This one's to Baldwin. He's fighting for extra yardage. Got it with his forward progress to the 25, but it's going to be 4th down at 7. That puts him in field goal range, though. And again, the officials have to separate both parties.
And again, I think that's a significant completion. You're not going to get 3rd and 18 very often. But if you get half of that into field goal range, that's okay. Now, this kid's got to convert it.
Well, he missed a 39-yarder the last time, and that was his first miss in 14 straight. I'm not going to try to jinx him here. This will be a 41-yard field goal attempt to try to cut the lead to 4. Colquitt to hold. This one is perfect. So Kansas City puts together a good-looking drive. It falls a little short of the end zone. Speaking of short, McCluster will be a long time before he forgets that one. From Verizon, get live streaming on tonight's game as well as Sunday and Monday night games. Every touchdown from every game Sunday afternoon with NFL Red Zone, NFL Network coverage, and more. Call Star NFL to download NFL Mobile or go to bzw.com/NFL to learn more. Well-engineered drive by Matt Castle and his running backs. They go 70 yards in 10 plays. They had to settle for the field goal, but they cut the lead to 10-6. This one will not be returned. Brinkley takes a knee. San Diego will bring it out to the 20-yard line with 53 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Tight game here in the AFC West. Chargers still in front. Tonight's aerial coverage is being presented by Southwest Airlines. San Diego takes over at the 20-yard line. Philip Rivers tonight, Mike, 17 out of 19. A touchdown and an interception. Basically threw one into the stands. Somebody caught that. He threw one interception. We know that Eric Berry caught that, so the ball really hadn't touched the ground when he's throwing it around.
Yeah, but the one interception that they lose tonight is going to be a defining moment, unfortunately.
380.
Final minute, third quarter. Ryan Matthews bounces it outside. Matthews 15, 20. Down the sideline, he's got about a 30-yarder that time. Biggest run of the night by either team as Ryan Matthews goes 31 yards into Chiefs territory.
Really liked pressing the hole. When you run a zone play, all these linemen are stepping like this. He's going to step and press the hole, is patient, and now the cutback. Watch this. This is a really nice job off the hit, and then bang. Natural ability. So he presses the hole, he's patient, breaks a tackle, makes a huge gain.
Those are the things they saw of him at Fresno State that made him their number one draft choice. First down at the Chiefs 49. Now they go to Battle, and Battle, the big fella, pulls his way for about 10 more.
Yep.
Battle goes about 240. A change of pace after Matthews. And the third quarter comes to an exploding end for San Diego into Kansas City territory. We played 3. Chargers 10, Chiefs 6. Set to start the fourth quarter. Brad Nessler, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan. The Chargers in front. Philip Rivers, 17 of 19. Ryan Matthews with that 31-yard run is up to 58 now. And Gates with his 52nd career touchdown catch off the arm of number 17. Fourth quarter. Matthews up the middle this time. Chargers only had 50 yards for the most part until this drive. Now they've got about 47 or so just on this drive.
Yeah, and what I really like, I think, Brad, is both teams have had some patience with the run game. And the run game starting to take over in the second half. Chargers are averaging about 6 yards a rush.
They got 5 on that one. A second down and 5.
You know, when Ryan Matthews is healthy and when he holds on to the football, he's a pretty dynamic back.
McClain, the fullback, will lead the way on the left side. Got a pretty good block on Holly, but Holly stuck with it and made the tackle.
Yeah, Holly does just such a nice job. LaRon McClain tried to get him there, and this is called a stack and shed. Now, you've got outside leverage, stack them with your arms, bench press them, and then react to the outside and make a play. And again, I can't emphasize how good a football player I think that kid is.
You know, he came into our meeting yesterday, and he was just so frustrated, and they want to win so bad, and he wants to win so bad. And I think he feels like there's a couple missing pieces on that side of the ball. If everybody did their job like he did, they probably wouldn't be 1-6.
It broke him up just talking about it.
Yeah, it did. Third down and 3. Inside run by Ronnie Brown. And a former number 1 pick of the Dolphins shows he can still tote the football. 7 yards and a first down.
You know, Jared Gaither at 6'9" has trouble getting in a three-point stance and exploding out. But here he does a nice job. Just a position block. Second level. Get on the linebacker. The guard wraps around Vasquez. That's a really good job up front blocking. And then Ronnie Brown finishes.
San Diego 1 touchdown in the last 9 quarters. They're going to keep on grinding it with Matthews and Brown and Battle. And it'll be second down at about the 22-yard line.
Here we are again in that red zone area, getting into that red zone area, and teams have struggled finishing tonight in the red zone. I'm sure North Turner wants to separate here.
Directing traffic from the sideline, or trying to. Rosario, the tight end, goes into the slot. And now they're going to take a timeout. There was confusion on that one.
Randy McMichael was in the wrong place.
They'll talk about it with 12:20 remaining in the ballgame. Don't forget, next week, we've got 5 more Thursday night games after this one. Next Thursday, Andrew Luck, the #1 draft choice. Reggie Wayne, who's got more catches than anybody in the league right now going into the weekend. They'll be in Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Mike and Alex and I, Rich and the whole gang, hope you join us next Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern on NFL Network.
I'm anxious to see those 2 young quarterbacks.
Me too. Here's a veteran quarterback who's had an almost perfect night except one miscue that he'd love to have back, an interception that took away a score. And they continue to run it. 7 straight runs on this drive. Wow. And down to the 12 goes Ronnie Brown.
And a good job by Tyrone Green, the left guard that time, getting out on the linebacker, Derek Johnson. You know, you've got to make instant decisions as a guard. Watch 69 right here. He's going to get on the nose tackle and then up to the second level, just gets a piece, but enough. And a good cut by Brown, gets up inside for the first down.
I tell you, a team that came in 20th in the league in rushing at just over 100 yards a game, and they are putting it together on the ground on this drive, that's for sure. First down at the 13-yard line of Kansas City. Rivers throw, back shoulder, touchdown, Malcolm Floyd. "13 yards for the score. Run all the way, and then let it rip for Rivers, his second touchdown of the night."
Yeah, and that's vintage Rivers. That's trusting a receiver. That's throwing it back shoulder and putting it where only Malcolm Floyd could get it against a small safety in Kendrick Lewis. Back shoulder, Travis Daniels.
That's pretty when it works like that.
Travis Daniels again. Remember, Stanford route is out. They're short the corner. It looks like he's got full possession all the way through the catch with both feet down.
For Malcolm Floyd, it'll be his second touchdown catch of the year. And a pretty toss from Phillip Rivers. Novak's extra point is good. Now Kansas City has themselves in an 11-point hole with just 11:33 remaining in the ball game. Phillip Rivers making up for his interception with his second touchdown of the night. On the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy, the American Red Cross provides life-saving services such as meals, shelter, and mobilizing resources and workers nationwide. Visit redcross.org or text Red Cross to 90099 to give a $10 donation. And to all of you that were affected by the hurricane, we wish you the very best in putting your homes and your lives back together. Kickoff, 5 yards deep, is Drone. Drone across the 20, a hurdle, and he goes down at the 20 actually, but we've got a flag down back near the 15-yard line.
It was a bad penalty on Stevenson. He gave it up around the collar with his arm out wide, the old bar right across the neck, I think, of Gilchrist. It was a really obvious penalty that the ref saw immediately. Here's right in here. Look at the right arm come out right across the head and rip him down. That's dangerous right there.
It sure is.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, number 79 in the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down, timeout.
Not sure why he looks surprised. That'll back Kansas City up into a deep hole that they don't need to be in, trailing 17-6. The Chiefs have 1 touchdown of their last 42 offensive possessions on this NFL season. And tonight, a 17-play drive that ended in a fumble. Another 10-play drive. They got a field goal, another 10-play drive, and a field goal. And in between, they knelt down to end the half, a punt, and a missed field goal that hit the left upright. Wow. Second time they've started inside their own 10-yard line here. And now we got flags down.
Start number 74 offense.
Yep.
Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Eric Winston with a false start. And it's getting worse because they're going to be lining up pretty soon in their own end zone. The backs, that is.
You know, Brad, there's still over 11 minutes left in the game, and you don't want to panic, but they've had trouble scoring all year long. You're down 11 on your own 4-yard line. This is an important series. A, for field position, and B, for points on the board.
Jamal Charles will be about 4 yards deep in his own end zone.
Oh, boy. Dwayne Bowe or somebody up top had nobody covering him. Jammer had to come over late. He was jumping up and down
There
and
is
screaming.
no foul for delay of game. The 25-second clock should have been reset. No foul.
See right here, Jammer's on the wrong side, doesn't see him. He's jumping up and down saying, get me the ball. And the refs say, we got to reset the clock.
So reset the clock they do. And now Bowe does have company to the top of your screen. Matt Castle's having a hard time even hearing what he's trying to tell his offensive line at the 4-yard line. Charles, nice tackle by Donald Butler, or he might have had a decent gain off that left side.
Yeah, third-year player from Washington. And again, they went heavy formation to the right and came back to the weak side. And Butler just got him, or else Charles had a lot of daylight.
Only got a yard the way it was. 2nd down and 13 just inside the 5. 11 minutes remaining fourth quarter.
Yeah, this is tough on them. They're not a big play chunk offense, yet they need some chunks here. Heavy to the right again.
Play action, Castle. Look out. Safety coming. Ball is out. Touchdown, San Diego, one official says.
Yeah.
It's a safety for sure. It's either 2 or 6 once they unpile the bodies.
And
They signal touchdown for the Chargers.
And 79 Stevenson is the offender there. He got beat off the edge easily. Sean Phillips.
Sean Phillips in his 100th career start. And when the ball comes out, he's the man to cover it.
But it was the extra tackle, number 79 Stevenson, that gets beat. Taking advantage is the 31-year-old veteran Jarrett Johnson, but he beats him off the edge. Here it is right down here, right off the edge. If you're going to go play action with Stevenson in the game, he's got to protect the edge.
Novak, point after is good. 24-6. Sean Phillips, his 100th career start, and the guy they call SP has a TD. A little bit of excitement after the defense scores. Antoine Barnes just headbutts Nick Hardwick. Nick says, wait, dude, I need my helmet on when you do that.
You're like, really?
24-6, San Diego with a defensive touchdown on the fumble by Matt Castle. That's his 7th fumble of the year, Castle, and that one cost them 7. Drone not going to bring this one out. Don't forget Sunday, wake up with First on the Field and NFL Game Day morning this Sunday on First on the Field. Don't miss first half report cards, the biggest surprises and disappointments, and some bold predictions for the second half of the season. Plus on Game Day morning, as Peyton Manning made the Denver Broncos a legitimate Super Bowl contender. First on the Field and Game Day morning. It all starts Sunday at 7 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Peyton, whose numbers in the past month, unbelievable. The last 3 weeks or so, he was player of the month in the NFL. The Chargers trying to get within a half game of the Broncos if they can win this game and go to 4-4. As Castle with a throw to Charles, and Charles down the sideline, great speed, but Weddle's going to run him out of bounds.
And you know, Brad, it kind of, here's another injury for the Chiefs.
That's Brandon Albert.
Starting left tackle, former first-round pick, and kind of brings up a question what you were talking about with Manning. This AFC West, like usual, is probably going down the last day.
Yeah.
You know, and Peyton Manning has kind of transformed what this division looks like. And I kind of feel like San Diego's rediscovering who they are tonight. So here's Denver at 4-3. And by the way, they've got a tough game this weekend at Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team that I think is a dangerous football team. If San Diego wins to go 4-4, here we go. Oakland's back in it, playing better. And this thing could very well go down to the end again.
One of our remaining games, we're going to see the Raiders against Peyton Manning later on in the season, and that could be a huge game in the AFC West. Peyton Manning, 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in each of the last 4 games. That's incredible. It's too bad he's not healthy.
Yeah. How's that neck?
How's that neck doing? Wow.
You know, I'm looking at the San Diego offense tonight, and Eddie Royal's not playing, and Meacham's not playing. It's Malcolm Floyd and, you know, a new band of wideouts, and I like the run game. I like what they've done tonight. I think they've discovered a little something.
And now Matt Castle knows that he's got to pass, and pass some more in the final 10 minutes to try to get back in the game. Throw out to Bo. He's been his favorite target tonight. Gilchrist and Lynch bring him down, but Bo having a big night number-wise, but not showing it on the scoreboard. Kansas City with just 2 field goals. 8th catch for Dwayne Bowe on the night.
And that one fumble he has hurt them also.
Yeah. A couple of turnovers have led to Charger points. The Bowe fumble turned into points, and obviously the Castle one a few minutes ago turned into a touchdown. Deep ball wobbly and almost intercepted. I don't know if that came off his hand funny or if it was tipped coming out of there, but that looked like a shot put.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by they're not a chunk team. And here comes a blitz off the edge right here, okay? And they're going to run the route in here, and the safety's going to come over top. This ball probably should have been intercepted. Weddle's trying to bait it. The ball gets thrown up in the air. McCluster has no idea where it is, and Corey Lynch and Jammer are the 2 guys that have the best shot at the football. Kansas City is really going to struggle with that.
And that's 3rd down and 5. Throw to the outside of McCluster. I don't know if he got there or not. Diving for the first down marker over there, and he's right at it. Might be one that they have to take a look at over there.
I'm kind of interested to see if McCluster can turn into a high-level slot in this league. I really am. He's so quick. Good hands. He's tough, but he was a tailback at Ole Miss.
Right.
You know, he doesn't know how to run routes yet.
Some of them that he's run tonight look pretty good,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
In San Diego territory, first down at the 48. Chiefs need points in a hurry. Castle crossing route. There is. Oh, man. Charles just got rocked. The ball came out. Wow. Let's hope he's okay.
Oh, my goodness, did he get rocked. Oh, Butler's lighting people up tonight, man.
This was not a good landing for Jamal Charles. It was the second one that was helmet to helmet. Right there.
Wow. The helmet
Butler.
almost comes off. That's a little scary right there. And remember,
Jamal Charles down. We'll check on him when we come back. He got up on his own. He ran off to the Kansas City sideline after taking a vicious lick on that last pass reception. It only picked up 2 yards, but Kansas City with a 2nd down and 8 now at the 46 of the Chargers. Crossing pattern, and this one's intercepted down the sideline. Demario Williams, another touchdown, San Diego. Yards for Williams on a deflected pass. Another Kansas City turnover. And now back-to-back defensive scores by the Chargers defense.
you know what's interesting, Brad? That's the 8th tipped interception of the year on Kansas City. And of the 8 tips, 3 have been pick sixes. That's the 3rd one.
Much the same route as Charles getting hurt. This one was McCluster on a crossing pattern. It went off his hands. Demario Williams did the rest. 59 yards. The extra point is good.
This happened to McCluster earlier in the year. Same thing. Tip ball. Crossing route, as Brad said, this is an eminently catchable ball. That's on McCluster, not the quarterback. Great job, obviously, by DeMario Williams.
When's the last time you saw 2 defensive touchdowns in 2 minutes? Boy, DeMario knew what he was doing with it when he got his hands on it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's an athletic kid right there now.
And the problems continue for the Chiefs. We're going to fall to 1-7, and it will be their 5th straight loss. We still have 8.5 minutes remaining, but now it's 31-6. Most turnovers at this point in the season since the Saints, who had 30 15 years ago.
28 giveaways. What did we say? The 79 Steelers can't win with that, man. You know, the 80-something, what do you think, 85 Bears? Pick any of them you want.
Yep.
Can't win this way.
Great Cowboy teams or 49er teams that go all the way back to the Packers in the 60s. Nobody's going to win when you turn it over that much.
Imagine Vince Lombardi with 28 giveaways in 8 games.
No.
So he's going to take a lot of abuse right there, Matt Castle, and I'm going to defend him right now. He played a pretty clean game. He gets strip sacked in the end zone for a touchdown, and then a tip throw off McCluster's hands that should have been caught. They're going to go down as his turnovers, and guys like us are going to rip them.
Right.
But those 2 weren't on him.
Kick 9 yards deep, and Drone will take a knee with 8:33 remaining in the 4th quarter. All San Diego right now. Phillip Rivers, 2 touchdowns, just 1 errant throw, threw 1 away, had the interception that stopped the score before halftime. Chargers defense, 3 takeaways, though 2 touchdowns on the sack of Castle by Sean Phillips, and then an interception returned for a touchdown by DeMario Williams. And Kansas City again having trouble scoring touchdowns, and now they need a whole bunch of them in 8.5 minutes. It doesn't look good. There's Hillis, and he got a couple. Takeo Spikes in on the stop.
Well, we talked about turnovers at the top of the show. Bo won the first series, 17-play series, stopped by his fumble. Late in the game, Stevenson loses his man. Jared Johnson strips it. Touchdown, San Diego. And then finally, good throw, tip throw off McCluster's hands. DeMario Williams takes it to the house.
Castle throws complete to the outside. Steve Bruston, that's his first catch of the night, and it picks up a first down.
A couple minutes ago, it's a pretty good football game, wasn't it?
Didn't take long to deteriorate, did it?
Hope Jamal Charles is all right on the sidelines. He's being tested out by NFL medical personnel.
And the Chiefs, who've had concussion problems for both of their quarterbacks, Matt Castle and then Brady Quinn. And they'll be checking Jamal Charles for that, I'm sure, after that head-on collision he had a few minutes ago.
Right.
By the way, on that play, helmet-to-helmet contact, but he wasn't a defenseless player because he'd already made contact and had made a football move in trying to run with the ball. So
he already caught the football, turned up, and it was actually the second hit that got him.
Right.
No longer defenseless.
Well, you can see a smile on Norv Turner's face. It's going to be a night when maybe he can get some sleep for the first time in a while when this one's over.
How do you spell relief, right? In the NFL, it's victory.
Yeah, W-I-N.
Yeah.
Here's a throw. That one's up in the air and almost intercepted again. Flags are down.
Yeah, it's Jammer who clearly hooked the arm of the receiver. It's pretty subtle. It was good. I mean, it was a
pass
good move.
interference. Number 23 in the defense. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic.
11-year guys know how to do this stuff, Brad.
Right.
Watch him hook it with the left arm, right there. Just tries to hook it a little bit. Good call.
But the officials have some experience too. Saw that one coming. Alex tells us that Jamal Charles, they're calling it a neck injury over there on the sideline. So he'll be evaluated when the Chiefs get back to Kansas City. And his night's done for sure. And now timeout taken by the Chiefs. Little confusion as to personnel. And with 7:25 remaining, they take their first time out. Well, next week, we're going to be in Jacksonville. Should be fun if you haven't seen Andrew Luck play yet, and we haven't seen him play yet in person. Reggie Wayne, the old veteran, is his favorite target, as he was Peyton Manning before him. Wayne Gabbert and the Jaguars await in Jacksonville. Colts and Jags next Thursday, 8 o'clock on NFL Network.
Blaine Gabbert's a guy that really needed to improve this year. There's A.J. there on the right. But Gabbert's a guy that needed to take a big step forward. I'm anxious to watch him. I've had some people around the league tell me he has improved, and I can't wait to get a look at him.
So first down, Kansas City. Resetting the clock, I think. At the 47. Castle's going to throw the screen out to Drone. And that's blown up completely by Quentin Jammer. So Jammer, who had the penalty a moment ago, turns around and makes up for it with that hit.
Yeah, this was a cover 2 concept, and because of that, his eyes are on the quarterback, and he sees the ball, and he comes flying in from the outside in. Bang. That's a form tackle, folks.
Sure is. Yes. Second down and 9. Castle throws across the middle again. That has worked tonight, but it hasn't gotten him that many yards and hasn't gotten many points. Peyton Hillis that time on a crossing route. Brought down by Gilchrist.
I think John Pagano and the San Diego Chargers are very content with letting them throw crossing routes underneath. They're not going to let anything up top. And this is the number 9 ranked defense in the league as far as points allowed. Right. And the only problem they've had this year is their corners have given up some double moves and big plays. They didn't allow that tonight.
2-down territory here for the Chiefs. They don't need to, as a completion to Preston gives them another first down. So Preston a couple of catches here in the fourth quarter.
First down, Kansas City.
San Diego, once they even their record at 4-4, they're going to be at Tampa next week against a Buccaneer team that we saw beat Minnesota on the road last week.
Hey, Greg Schiano has them flying around playing hard.
Yeah, he does. Castle in trouble, trying to scramble his way out of it. Tripped up and then slides down by Cam Thomas. So the Chargers, they'll be 500.5 game behind the Broncos. Then it's Tampa Bay at Denver. That's going to be a very important game.
Oh, yeah.
Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. That's kind of a killer's row right there, too.
Yeah, keep in mind, they're 2-1 in the division, and they'll be 3-1 after tonight. So that Denver game will be an important one.
Castle again flushed out of the pocket. For a guy that had his own concussion problems a couple of weeks ago, he is hanging tough, has in the pocket, and run when he's had to. And just trying to get any kind of momentum going for the Chiefs offense.
It's difficult when you're getting spanked now 31-6. It's difficult to pull the trigger down the field.
Deepest penetration tonight has been the 21-yard line of San Diego for Kansas City. They're about 5 yards from that right now. Castle, sideline throw, perfect. Sean Drone takes it in, and Kansas City's got it first and goal.
Got the matchup they wanted. Drone on a linebacker. Good coverage, beautifully thrown football. Mario Williams, who just had the pick 6, gets beat that time, but pretty good coverage.
Drone out of North Carolina, in there with Jamal Charles, having been injured, shaken up in this quarter. He stays in there with Matt Castle on a first and goal at the 6. Drone will try to carry it in, and he does. Touchdown, Kansas City. 6-yard scoring run by Sean Drone.
The left guard, Hochstein, who's playing for Jeff Allen, pulled out and did a nice job. San Diego really expecting pass. Hochstein's going to get up in the hole, make the block. Drone cuts off of him. Good job.
80-yard drive in 10 plays. They needed a few of those earlier in the ballgame. Not that they didn't have double-digit drives as far as number of plays. They just didn't cash in with them. Suck up for the point after. With 4:26 remaining. Kansas City in the end zone. 31-13. Norv Turner, we talked about, not kiddingly, it's something he said to Alex Flanagan yesterday. Do I look beleaguered? Because it's usually the word that's in front of him in the newspapers out here. And in September, regular season record, right around 500. Then October goes down. November gets better. December and January, if you can get there, it's very, very good.
And that's the reputation out here. He takes heat for how they play early. They feel like he saved his job late several times. And those two guys, I think, they're tied at the hip right now, Philip Rivers and Norv Turner. And I thought outside of that one throw that we killed him for, Philip Rivers had a big night, 18 for 20 for 220.
Let's check in with Alex.
Brad, you guys talked about some of the reports earlier this week, or actually today. One report out had Norv Turner being fired tonight if he lost this game. I can tell you that Norv Turner is not going to lose his job anytime soon. As you guys have just talked about, this team's still very much alive and well in the division. Plus, Norv Turner, the offensive play caller for this team, there really isn't anybody else that could call the plays. So you kind of have to wonder why they would make a change right now if they're still alive in the division with Norv Turner. Remember, this is a team, too, is used to losing streaks. You guys remember us being here last year. They lost 6 in a row last year and dug out of it in the past. Norv and Philip Rivers, well known for being steady.
Here comes the onside kick, one way or the other.
Double secret probation.
Yes, and the ball is loose. I don't know if it went 10 yards, but the pileup is at the 40-yard line.
Remember, it doesn't have to go 10 if a member of the receiving unit touches it first.
Right,
then it becomes live again.
I didn't see if that was the case or not. Well, this umpiring is taking longer than the first quarter did. Oh, I'd love to be an official just for 5 minutes. I think he said blue ball on the bottom of that pile.
Corey Lynch is still fighting. There's somebody under him. Did you see all the movement prior to the kick? He faked about 3. Look at him. Boom. Yeah. Those two guys ran.
Right.
Yep, boom.
Go left.
Up. And it's like a dance. And now the ball's gone 8 yards, and it looks like it hit off, I'm going to say, Jackie Battle. Let's see. Here's a good angle for it. See Battle 44. Does he go up and hit it? Either Battle or whoever cut in front of Battle. I think it was Dante Rosario. I think one of those guys might have hit it, which makes it alive and a free ball.
And down on the very bottom, there's about 15 hands on one little piece of cowhide, pigskin cowhide. The Chargers have it at the 40-yard line with 4:26 remaining. Battle, who is part of that, stays in there as the tailback. And I think we had a false start.
False start, number 79 offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And going back just to try to finish up a little bit what we were talking about with Norv Turner and Philip Rivers. And you said both those guys had each other's back, and they really did in our meetings. As Norv said about Philip, said he's held this thing together the last 3 years. And Philip Rivers, on the other hand, has said every time we've climbed out of the problems we get in, it's because Norv has been so focused and steady.
And this was independent of each other, and pretty cool to see the trust.
And it's close to a horse collar tackle, but Justin Houston brings down Battle after a pickup of 3. A lot of people say, how come the Chargers don't score 25, 26 points like they used to 2 or 3 years ago? Well, you don't lose all this talent and make you a better football team.
You've got 3 tailbacks on the left side, and you're trying to replace that with a kid you trade up in Fresno. in Ryan Matthews. Then Vincent Jackson, a big play receiver, is gone. And then, of course, on the defensive side, you're talking about Cromartie, a premier corner. So if you don't replace that with equal or like talent, you got a problem.
Yep. And LT is part of our crew now, as I'm sure all of you know. Here's Battle, little cut back to the middle, and he gets it inside the 40-yard line. Speaking of our crew, Rich and Dion, Marshall, Steve, and Michael will be live on the field breaking down the action with highlights and player interviews. Philip Rivers will be joining him. You want to keep it right here for the Kay Jewelers postgame show immediately following tonight's game.
What if Philip says no?
I'm pretty sure he'll
What
say
happened?
yes, because I think he's going to have a big smile on his face and say, you know what? He said, we just got to get one, and then maybe we can get on a roll and win 8 or 9 like we did a couple of years ago.
That's right. Dion, Mooch, the guys, they have a lot of fun in that postgame show.
Yes, they do.
I mean, they rock and roll a little bit.
When things are going bad and you lose 3 straight to teams that at the time had losing records, and you fall under 500.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's when all the talk begins about your quarterback and your coach and your GM and everything else. And Philip Rivers, he never seems to waver and change from being the same guy that we see all the time. And what did he say to us? He said, hey, man, it's like that country song. This ain't nothing. He said, we've been through all this around here before. This ain't nothing.
He's so much fun to talk to, and it's funny because the whole thing about arm strength, people are saying he doesn't have arm strength anymore, he's underthrowing deep routes. He was visibly frustrated about that. He's like, come on, it's got nothing to do with any of that. And I agree with him.
Ronnie Brown. Right now the Chargers just trying to use up the remaining clock here. And they're going to be forced to punt. Dexter McCluster will go back deep. Guy that you want to keep it out of his hands if at all possible. Cypher's going to wait for that clock to wind down all the way. They might even take a delay game penalty here. Get it down near the 2-minute warning is going to be 7 or 8 seconds difference. Haven't had a whole lot of punting tonight.
No, a lot of long drives tonight.
Yep.
And we've talked a lot about
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
about San Diego and Norv and their situation. There's an awful lot of frustration in Kansas City also.
Yep.
You know, this is going to drop them to 1-7 after 2 years ago a playoff run and a first-round loss to Baltimore. You know, Romeo Crennel, who's one of the real good guys in this league. Scott Pioli, the general manager. A bad draft in 09. I thought they followed up with a couple of really strong drafts after that. But the question is the quarterback position, and it's got to get fixed.
Cluster calling for a fair catch. That's a dive for it and drop the ball. And the Chargers have got it. Darryl Stuckey. And the woes continue turnover-wise for the Kansas City Chiefs.
And then a young guy tries to do too much. He comes running all the way over. He misjudges the football. It's a loose ball. Got a penalty, I believe, down on the field.
Two-minute warning. San Diego in control and with the football.
We're just 2 minutes away from the Kay Jewelers postgame show. Philip Rivers is going to join us. So join us for the usual fun and frolic on the postgame show. Brad?
All right, Rich, thanks. Chiefs have 10 turnovers in their 2 meetings with the Chargers. 10 turnovers in 2 meetings.
They had 5 in the first half, which ended that game, the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
6
so 4
overall.
tonight. And the giveaways continue. It's kind of like Halloween. You're giving things away. It's not candy in this case. It's the football. In honor of Veterans Day, a reminder, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league's going to donate $100 to each of its nonprofit partners, the Pat Tillman Foundation, USO, and Wounded Warrior Project. To join the salute and learn more, visit NFL.com/salute. Had a lot of our servicemen and women at Qualcomm tonight, including the gang that sang the national anthem. Had the flyover before the game. One of those things that gives you chills that last a whole quarter.
I agree.
Unfortunately for Kansas City, the chills started right about there and it really never stopped. Chargers Minute 57 away from their 4th win against 4 losses on the season. You were talking about the quarterback situation. You know, Matt Castle's going to get burned about this in Kansas City for the fumble that led to a touchdown and the interception that was returned for the score, and he'll, you know, have to take the blunt of that. Do you realize, you know, he came over from New England. We talked about that. The last time a Kansas City Chief quarterback that was drafted by the Chiefs won a football game,
right.
You're not going to believe this.
What?
25 years ago. I mean, in there, of course, are the Montanas and the Gannons and all those guys that came from somewhere else.
Who's the last one? 25. It's not your partner, is it?
Todd Blackledge is the last Chiefs quarterback that was drafted by the Chiefs that's won a game for them.
That's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
First-round pick out of Penn State.
That's it. Now that's crazy. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. The Chiefs are falling to 1-7, 5 straight losses. And again, they haven't led in regulation. Their win was in overtime over the New Orleans Saints. And you can just see the relief over there on the sideline with the coaching staff. And Norv Turner, you know, he gets to smile. That's a nice feeling.
And John Pagano behind him, Richie Bisaccia, those 3 guys are really relieved.
Tomorrow, after Norv goes to his press conference, the paper won't say beleaguered coach, it'll say happy coach or smiling coach. And same with their quarterback, who was almost perfect tonight. Well, we said that one of these teams would get their 53rd win in this series that was deadlocked coming in. It's the San Diego Chargers that get win number 53 in the 106th meeting between these longtime rivals. And they win it rather easily after a couple of late defensive touchdowns. 31-13 is the final. San Diego goes to 4-4, and they're within a half game of the Denver Broncos in the AFC West. That's going to do it for Mike and Alex and I. Don't forget, we'll be back in a minute with a Kay Jewelers post-game show with highlights, analysis, interviews, and press conferences.